Hello and welcome to the NBA Economy Show. This is Fritz. I know it's been a long time coming, but this is kind of like the next step in NBA Economy's journey. We're going to be going live a few times a week. Hopefully, we can add some new features. I'm really excited. Next week, I'll have a lot more time in my hands, and I can spend it on the channel, growing the channel, and uh, talking about this exciting NBA season. As you know, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm very happy of where we're at. We're winners of the NBA Cups. Didn't put the banner up, but I am still very excited. Looking forward to seeing what the season is going to bring. Hopefully, an NBA championship. Um, Hopefully, you've seen the title, and a lot of people are really, really happy where the Knicks are right now. And they are, some people are in the camp of don't touch anything. Um, that they're doing so well. Do not mess with this chemistry. Let's rock and maybe you can win. Um, there's other people who's like, hey, we're going to have to level up. The East is fine, but some of the competition in the West, you're going to have to go through OKC. Everything goes through OKC, so you may have to level up the type of play. Um, I think a lot of fans and a fan's mind, you want to put away players who are not doing well and bring in players who are doing well. That is the mindset as most fans have it, and it doesn't quite work like that. There's financial ramifications. There are reasons why teams make the moves that they make. And so when I say these two players, we're talking about Mitch and we're talking about Deuce. I am not saying Mitch or Deuce are bad, but can they be put in a trade for various reasons? Mitchell Robinson is having maybe one of the better years of his career. His offensive rebounding per 36 is off the charts. Like he is putting on a show. He is grabbing every offensive rebound he can. Even though he's still not putting up 10 boards a game, so he still doesn't have a double figure anywhere. Hasn't had a 10 rebounds or 10 points in his whole career ever as an average. But he is having a great year, and it is a contract year for him. Like most teams, they want to do it before the season. They don't want to fight with other teams to set a value, because when you let that happen, there can always be you're only a player is as valuable as the highest bidder. And next year there may be some very high bids, and if you really want this player, you better lock him up early. So there has been skepticism around Mitchell Robinson. Me, I have been very skeptical about how long the Knicks are going to keep Mitchell Robinson, just because his value is pretty good. Like the way he's been playing right now, what is he worth in trade? At least a first round pick. At least an expiring in a first round pick, if not more. So if we went through the season and we didn't win a championship, ultimately didn't win a championship, and he didn't come back, and you weren't able to, sign and trade, which would have some caveats in that. You weren't able to sign and trade him. You're basically saying I left a first round pick and change on the table. I have a very hard time seeing how that is okay. At the same time, the Knicks haven't signed him to extension. Like the Knicks could have signed him to an extension this past year. They did have talks, and the only thing that has come from those talks is that the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson were very far apart on the number they talked about. Right now, beginning of this summer, I said, hey, maybe the Knicks would go into the teens a little bit more, a little bump from what he had from now. But with the play of Mitchell Robinson now, like you would have to offer him 20 million. And what is that going to do? That may shorten the runway you have for a championship. Because if you're inserting you're looking at several players who need extensions over the next few years, and a lot of those players don't look like they're going to be taking cuts. So it may make sense to get rid of Mitchell Robinson now. Don't mean say throw him away. It's making a play for business. Like I can extract something now, and maybe this summer I can get something to plug a little bit of that hole. It's not that I don't like Mitchell Robinson. When it comes to Deuce, we are in a different situation. Deuce McBride is having a great shooting year. Like he had a last 2 years down shooting years. He's been injured, and that has like attributed to his poor shooting and recovering from those injuries and inconsistent minutes with Tom Thibodeau. But we see that the shooting is real. He's healthy, and the shooting is real. Players who can shoot at an elite level make at least in the teens. Shooting is a premium in the NBA. And then right now, Deuce, even though he's making $4 million and change, is giving you the level of play of someone in the low teens to the mid-teens, which makes him very valuable. He's a valuable contract. Different than Mitch, because he's not an expiring. But one thing is, like you see in this lower thirds here, he's extension eligible starting next week. That's when he signed his contract. The date he signed his contract a few years ago. So basically, if another team wanted Tyler Kolek, basically they are trading for an elite shooter who's going to give you an excellent contract for a year and a half. And then if you extend him past then, you start paying regular money. So the value is in the low pay plus the player. So Deuce may be worth a first round pick right now. That's much higher than we thought this past offseason when his shooting wasn't so great, but we thought maybe if you traded him, you may get a couple seconds. I think right now Deuce is worth a first round pick. What could make these players untouchable? A Giannis trade would make almost everyone on the Knicks tradable. Like I don't think you hold up a Giannis trade for Deuce. I don't think you hold up a Giannis trade for Mitch. If they want them included in that trade and it's not an exorbitant amount, you do it. But it's going to take Giannis to push that forward. If it's not Giannis, do you think these players are worth trading? Well, I think when it comes to Deuce McBride, it's not just is he good or is he bad. One thing about Deuce McBride is his height. He is 6'2", and you just can't change that. And then the Knicks have some very good backups, but they all seem to be 6'2". So one thing about Deuce McBride, I think there may be an opportunity while you have emerging players like Tyler Kolek, while you have a Landry Shamet, um, while you have a Jordan Clarkston, while you still have a Josh Hart, and you have a Mikal Bridges, maybe you take this valuable piece, and I'm gonna trade for another valuable piece, but taller or at a need, because Yabusele hasn't been playing well. Um, you really have to think of maybe if OG wasn't there, who's gonna step up? So maybe shore up that problem um, by using Deuce. Do I think the Knicks are gonna do that? I don't think the Knicks would do it unless they had a big upgrade. I don't think they're going to do small upgrade and include Deuce. I think it either be a big upgrade or maybe like a youth upgrade, like getting your hands on a rookie that you probably wouldn't be able to get your hands on. Um, Perhaps I'll go into that a little later, but maybe getting your hands on someone who needs to get extended, who brings some more height that you need. Shout out to Miggy. Okay, he said if you trade Deuce, you would need a reliable point of attack defender. True. But the Knicks have depth. And I don't think these I'm not talking in definites. But if there was a time to do it, it is now. You don't trade people too late. Like this is the point where he's actually valuable. It's not the hot potato contract. Like there are players like, they may be good players, but you trade them right before they're going to get their big extension. Some team will trade for them. They're not going to give you a whole lot because they're not going to get much benefit. Like you just heaped on them like a huge financial responsibility. But a year runway, I think he's valuable now. I think it all comes down to Leon Rose's planning. We're not in Leon Rose's head. And the thing is, most players are thinking about what is going to get us to a championship this year. But Leon Rose has to think of the next 4 or 5 years right now. Like when he makes a trade, it's not about what's going to help me in 2026. It is what's going to help me in 2026 that doesn't hurt me in 2027, doesn't hurt me in 2028, doesn't hurt me in 2029. I think that's when you start opening up, trading a guy who's obviously good, obviously is valuable, but obviously can maybe help you avoid issues a couple years down the line. Because it may not seem like a lot. Like a lot of people say, hey, it's not a lot of money. We'll just deal with it when we get to it. Well, we've seen several teams this year deal with it when it came to pass, and they end up cutting rotation players just to make numbers work. That's not what you want. You have to deal with it years ahead. You have to have a plan. That's why not knowing what Leon Rose's plan is makes things so difficult, because you just don't know what he's thinking about 2 years. I don't know 2 years down the line if I'm going to trade Cat in 2 years. We don't know that. If he does that in 2 years, that shifts everything about how we're looking at things. But without that knowledge, you don't know. So I wouldn't say he's off limits. Mitch, I definitely don't think it's off limits. I know he's doing well. I know a lot of people say, "Hey, we'll just deal with it this summer." But I think if you deal with him this summer, and he's going to take his offers from several teams, and he's going to come back with the Knicks and say, "Hey, you got 25 million for me," and it's not his issue about how we're going to pay Cat, Mitch, Mikal down the line in 3 years. That's Leon Rose's issue. So Mitch doesn't care. Mitch has sacrificed already. So if you know that day, if that number scares you and you know you will not be able to meet it, it may be the time to trade him now while he has value and get something valuable for the future. If that's a pick and a player or several picks and a decent player, or this is when you do it. If I'm going to put a number on it, Mitch staying and going, I put it at 50%. 50% of me saying, yeah, he'll be traded, and 50% says, no, maybe it's one and done. Maybe it's Mitch get us a championship. Mitch, nice knowing you, Mitch. When it comes to Deuce, I put Deuce being traded. I put Deuce being traded 30%. So I think it's not the most likely. But to make anything make sense, where you're looking for a decent upgrade, I think you're going to have to include Deuce in a trade. I think a lot of other times we looked at Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek in the last couple of weeks has taken himself out of the conversation in trade. Like, you can't trade Tyler Kolek in a trade unless it's a Giannis trade. Unless it's a huge trade. It's like a trade that, hey, a significant talent is coming back in a bigger trade. I couldn't see him going for a slight upgrade at a position. Tyler Kolek has several years. Cheap contracts makes championships. So he has a cheap contract that's going to be going for the next 3 years. That's gold. That's gold in the NBA. You don't give that up unless it's something significant. If you know that player is going to be good. When it comes to Pacome Dadier, however, man, I wish we had more time with him. I'm really hoping there's some kind of way to keep him while making an upgrade. Yabusele is the one I'm putting. I think most likely is move. Like Yabusele, short minutes. He says he has communication issues with the front office, talking about his playing time. He hasn't been barking or anything like that, but the writing is on the wall. Like Yabusele doesn't look good. He has a decent paycheck. Looks like maybe they have to give a little something to get him off the books. I don't think that little something is Tyler Kolek anymore. That little something may be a second round or two. So, are there untouchables this trade deadline? Jalen Brunson, the one true untouchable on this team. Outside of that, if Giannis is in the picture, anybody can go. But when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, I put it at 50%. I don't think it. I think if he's traded, he'll be traded because he has to be traded, not because he's going to bring you back something just wonderful. I think if he's traded, it just means this summer the numbers just don't work. Do I have any guys that I think I would trade Mitchell Robinson for? Um, well, the first thing you have to think about, you're not going to trade Mitchell Robinson and get back another Mitchell Robinson. There's very few players who could do what Mitchell Robinson does on the offensive glass. One thing I would do, I make sure if I trade Mitch, I make sure that I have a center for the future. Maybe not this year, but for the future. If I'm trading Mitch, I need to have Walker Kessler. Even though he's not playing this year, I need to have him in the wings so that this summer we can be negotiating. Because he's a great offensive rebounder. Always played 30-something minutes. That's something that needs to happen. Players I've talked about trading Mitch for, Jeremy Shohan. I think Mitch's value has gone up so high, and Sohan has been getting he's been racking up these DNPs because he doesn't fit with their team. I don't think it's the Knicks throwing in anything. I think it's San Antonio giving us more. So if I'm trading Mitch to the Spurs, I want Sohan and I want some seconds. Like give me a few seconds and some cap space. Create some cap space. So them taking on some money. When it comes to Deuce, again, I said 30%. If I traded Deuce, what would I trade Deuce for? Size. So if I'm trading Deuce, I'm probably putting him with like Yabusele. So Deuce and Yabusele to get a good 3-4 power forward. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trading Deuce to get another small guard. If there's another like swingman type player, I would be very interested in. There's one player who's in an interesting position, and that is on the Denver Nuggets, and that is Peyton Watson. And the numbers are, since we're second apron and they're second, it's a little difficult to do. We probably have to use a third team. But Peyton Watson. So Peyton Watson is 6'8", plays shooting guard, can play small forward. Who's 6'8", 6'9". So players with size. That's what I would want. Also can shoot 3, as well as Deuce. So a good shooter, but taller. And why Peyton Watson would be available is because Denver is cash strapped. Denver has basically saying they don't have the money for him next year because of the extensions they've already given out. And in the situation we talked about earlier, just giving out money and dealing with it later, they put themselves in a situation where they have a good player and they cannot pay him. So he is an expiring contract. He is going to walk this summer. The Knicks can give them Deuce. You have a year and a half of control. Very good player under very controlled money. And you're going to give me a player who's probably just a little less than Deuce, but who needs an extension. That's the situation I would do it. Giving it for a bigger player who could still shoot. I think he would be a great addition. That's kind of what I have for now. I want to keep having these shows. Um, I told you starting next week, I'll have a lot more time on my hands. We're gonna have like hopefully better production. Hopefully, I can add it so that we can have callers, live callers. I'm gonna try to do that as well. Also, we're gonna start having giveaways. Like I definitely have like a few of these, like the Jalen Brunson, um, what was it? Funko Pops. There's actually a giveaway on the Nick of Time show, so check Twitter. The Nick of Time show has a giveaway that you just have to sign up for the Nick of Time show. Just be subscribed to their YouTube, go to their Twitter, and just follow the instructions. Um, you can follow me on Twitter at Fritz Handles. You can please subscribe to the NBA Economy Show. You can also find me on the Nick of Time Show post game, producing, or sometimes on the panel, especially when we're talking about free agency. I thank everybody for joining me. I will definitely be back, and probably tomorrow we're going to talk about something else. I know I want to talk about some of the draft ideas. They're trying to fix the draft and why they're trying to fix the draft. We might talk a little bit about that tomorrow. I know a lot of people are celebrating Christmas, so a lot of people will be home. Hopefully, you can join in. I will talk to you guys soon, and see you soon.